Hey there, pause for just a second. Have you ever had that moment when you're scrolling through your feed and you feel a whisper in your soul, like the universe is nudging you to wake up to something bigger? What if I told you that same whisper is the echo of 7 ancient blueprints, the Hermetic Principles that Jesus himself wove into his teachings? Yep, those cosmic laws that Hermes Trismegistus spoke of are hiding in plain sight within the words of Christ. Buckle up, because today we're unlocking 7 Hermetic Principles according to Jesus and revealing how you can tap into these universal laws right now. 1. Mentalism reality begins in your mind. Have you ever lost yourself in a daydream, so real you almost forgot where you were? That's the raw power of mentalism, the idea that everything we experience starts as a thought in someone's mind. Picture your consciousness as a garden. Every seed you sow hope, worry, love, doubt will grow into the flowers and weeds you see in your life. Jesus knew this intimately. When he encouraged his followers to believe with all your heart, he was handing them the trowel to cultivate their inner orchards. Think about it. Have you ever been stuck in a loop of negative self-talk, only to watch your mood and circumstances spiral downward? That isn't coincidence, that's mentalism in action. Your mind is like a movie projector, and your beliefs are the film reel. Change the reel, and you change the entire story. Jesus illustrated this when he spoke of faith as tiny as a mustard seed moving mountains. He didn't mean you'd literally pick up Everest. He meant that a single, unwavering thought can reshape your experience of reality. So how do you flex this creative muscle? First, become aware of the script running in your head. Are you starring in a tragedy or a comedy? Second, rewrite the lines. Swap out "I can't" for "what if I could," and watch doors you thought were locked creak open. Finally, rehearse daily. Visualize the outcome you want. Breathe life into it with feeling, and let your mind broadcast that signal to the universe. Here's a fun experiment. For 1 week, catch yourself every time you think this is impossible. Pause. Then replace that thought with, "How can I make this work?" Notice how your decisions and opportunities begin to shift. That's mentalism at its finest, transforming your life from the inside out. Jesus wasn't giving a math lesson. He was handing you a cosmic keyboard. Mentalism teaches that your thoughts are notes, your beliefs are chords, and your life is the song you compose. So, what tune are you playing today? 2. Correspondence as within, so without. Ever notice how a storm inside you, anger, fear, excitement, often seems to mirror chaos or calm in your surroundings? That's the magic of correspondence. The microcosm, you, and the macrocosm, everything else, dance in perfect synchronicity. Imagine you're holding a snow globe. Shake it with negative emotion, and frosty turmoil swirls. Set it down gently with peace in your heart, and the flakes settle effortlessly. Jesus encapsulated this principle when he declared, "The kingdom of heaven is within you." He wasn't pointing to clouds above. He was revealing a hidden blueprint etched in your soul. That inner blueprint radiates outward, shaping your world like ripples from a pebble you toss into a pond. If you cultivate compassion in the depths of your being, it'll bloom in your relationships. If you harbor bitterness, it'll tint your experiences gray. Here's a simple test. Spend 5 minutes each morning tuning into your emotional thermostat. Are you in a place of gratitude or scarcity? Then observe what happens in your day. You'll start to see how your inner weather patterns forecast your outer reality. Correspondence also shows up in nature. Look at how tree branches mirror the veins in your arm, or how the spirals of a seashell resemble galaxies. That repeating pattern whispers the same message. What's inside echoes outside. So, if you want to change your world, start within. Before you tackle that big presentation or difficult conversation, ground yourself in the truth that the power to shape those moments lives in your thoughts and feelings. Ask yourself, what inner shift would make my outer life reflect more harmony, joy, or success. Then do the inner work: meditate, journal, breathe, repeat. By aligning your internal state with the life you dream of, you flip the switch on a universal mirror. Suddenly, you're not just reacting to events, you're co-creating them. And that's how the invisible kingdom of heaven takes form in your everyday world. 3. Vibration. Tune into the frequency of life. Have you ever felt a song vibrate through your chest, or sensed someone's presence before they entered the room? That's vibration, the energetic heartbeat of existence. From the subtlest whisper of a thought to the booming crash of thunder, everything hums at its own frequency. In physics class, you might learn about wavelengths and hertz. Jesus simply wielded vibration like a musical maestro. Remember when he spoke peace, "Be still," to the raging sea? Those words weren't just poetic. They carried a frequency strong enough to recalibrate the storm's chaotic rhythms into soothing harmony. Imagine the universe as a giant piano, each element: water, air, you and me, plays its own key. When your frequency clashes with the world's melody, dissonance follows. But when you tune into the higher vibrations of love, gratitude, and faith, you resonate with the song of creation. Want to experiment? Next time you feel stressed, crank your favorite uplifting track, close your eyes, and let the vibrations wash through you. Notice how your internal tempo shifts. That's vibration in action, your emotions dancing to an energetic rhythm. Similarly, negative thoughts and emotions operate at a low frequency, like a deep bass note that muddies the water. When you feed those notes with attention rumination, worry you stay stuck in stagnant sound. But when you focus on uplifting ideas, kindness, hope, you elevate your personal frequency and join the cosmic chorus of growth and healing. Jesus also demonstrated the principle of vibration through healing. By infusing his touch and words with compassion, he raised people's energetic state from pain and fear to wholeness. It's like replacing static on an old radio with crystal clear music. You're not changing the station, you're fine-tuning the signal. Every thought, word, and action you emit is a vibration setting off ripples in the field around you. So ask yourself, am I broadcasting fear, or am I radiating faith? Once you recognize the power of your personal broadcast, you can consciously dial up the frequency of love, peace, and purpose. Give it a try. Your life will start to hum with a new melody. 4. Polarity. Embrace life's contrasting forces. Think about a magnet. It has a north and a south pole, two distinct sides yet inseparable parts of one object. That's polarity in action. Everything in the universe has its opposite. Yet these opposites are really just extremes on a single spectrum. Jesus loved to leverage this truth in his teachings, dropping paradoxes that make you pause. Whoever wants to save their life must lose it, he said. Sounds confusing until you see the hidden harmony. Consider joy and sorrow. Would you recognize happiness if you'd never felt pain? Probably not. They're like sunrise and sunset. One loses its magic without the other. Jesus pointed to this when he spoke of the cross, showing that surrender, an apparent loss, unlocks resurrection, a profound gain. Just as your muscles grow by overcoming resistance, your spirit expands by navigating polarity. Here's a daily experiment. When you hit a low point: stress at work, conflict in a relationship, ask yourself, what gift does this challenge hold? That shift in perspective turns the problem into the seed of the next breakthrough. Polarity also appears in your thoughts. You might swing between extremes. I'm a total failure one moment, and I'm invincible the next. Both are illusions. The truth lives in the balance between those poles. Mindfulness or prayer can help you anchor in the middle ground where wisdom resides. On a grander scale, polarity fuels creation. Day becomes night, winter becomes spring, death begets new life. Jesus demonstrated this cosmic dance through his own journey: crucifixion, followed by resurrection, inviting us to see endings as new beginnings. Embracing polarity isn't morbid or pessimistic, it's liberating. It frees you from judging experiences as strictly good or bad. Instead, you learn to surf the wave of life, riding both crests and troughs with grace. So next time you find yourself in a polar moment, lean into it, feel the full spectrum, and let each extreme deepen your understanding of unity. 5. Rhythm, flow with life's natural cycles. Ever watch a metronome tick back and forth, or feel your breath rise and fall? That rhythmic pulse is the heartbeat of existence, constant, dependable, and utterly natural. Rhythm teaches us that life isn't a flat line. It's a series of waves you can ride or resist. Jesus tapped into this cadence when he said, "To everything there is a season." He knew that the same force governing sunrise and sunset also directed our personal journeys. Think about planting a garden. You wouldn't expect seeds to sprout overnight. You trust in cycles. Sowing in spring, growth in summer, harvest in autumn. Force the process, dig up sprouts too early, and you stunt the harvest. Likewise, real change in your life often follows a rhythm of preparation, action, rest, and renewal. Have you ever tried pushing through burnout without pause? Eventually, your productivity plateaus and your spirit flags. That's resistance to rhythm. But when you learn to sync with your own natural cycle work, rest, play, reflection, you're more effective and energized. Jesus modeled this by retreating to quiet places for prayer after intense ministry. He knew that stillness fuels stamina. On a collective level, history marches in waves too. Eras of exploration, innovation, crisis, renewal. We ride these tides, whether we like it or not. But when you grasp the rhythm, you can anticipate change and flow with it rather than against it. Here's a simple practice. Identify your personal productivity peaks and valleys. Are you sharper in the morning or the afternoon? Schedule demanding tasks for your high-energy windows and restorative activities for the lows. You'll feel like you're surfing instead of slogging. Rhythm isn't some abstract force. It's your built-in GPS guiding you through life. Jesus invites us to trust that GPS lean into each phase and know that after every winter, spring will come. When you flow with rhythm instead of fighting it, you discover a surprising source of peace and momentum. 6. Cause and effect. You reap what you sow. Have you noticed how small habits compound over time? Skipping the gym once becomes skipping a week, and soon your energy plummets. That's cause and effect. The seed you plant today determines the harvest you reap tomorrow. Jesus hammered this home when he said, "Do unto others, and as you sow, so shall you reap." He wasn't doling out rules. He was pointing out a cosmic law as reliable as gravity. Picture life as a garden again. Every word you speak is a seed, compliments plant blossoms of confidence. Harsh criticism sows thorny resentments. Every action is a drop of water or a ray of sunshine. Intentional kindness nourishes relationships. Selfish deeds parch soil and stunt growth. Jesus illustrated this principle through the parable of the talents. Servants given resources had to invest wisely or face loss. He was teaching that our choices, big and small, shape our spiritual and practical realities. Money spent on distraction yields empty wallets. Time invested in learning yields wisdom that pays dividends for life. Here's a way to test it. Keep a seed journal for a week. At the end of each day, jot down one positive and one negative action or thought you put out into the world. At week's end, review what fruit those seeds produce: better moods, new opportunities, or maybe friction and regret. The beauty of cause and effect is its fairness. There's no favoritism in these ripples. Everyone's actions ripple outward. That means you can't blame luck forever. You can't bask in good fortune without acknowledging the seeds you planted. It also means you can't despair over mistakes. You can plant new seeds at any moment. Jesus' life was a living testament to this law. His acts of compassion created disciples. His betrayal by a friend led to heartbreak, and eventually, a message of forgiveness that transformed history. Cause and effect isn't punishment, it's feedback, guiding us toward wiser choices. Embrace this principle, and you become a conscious gardener in your own life. Sow seeds of love, integrity, and curiosity, and watch the world bloom around you. 7. Gender, the dynamic dance of creative forces. When we hear gender, we often think of biology, but in the Hermetic sense, gender refers to the interplay of two fundamental energies: the assertive, projective force we call masculine, and the receptive, nurturing flow we call feminine. Neither is better, both are essential. Jesus embodied this dance flawlessly. Sometimes he strode through crowds with bold authority, and other times he cradled hearts with gentle compassion. Imagine a fire and a flowing river. Fire's energy is direct, visionary, consuming. The river's energy is yielding, intuitive, life-giving. Alone, each can create or destroy. Together, they generate steam powerful enough to drive engines. That's the alchemy of masculine and feminine working in harmony. In Christ's encounters with Mary Magdalene, he shattered cultural conventions by honoring her wisdom and elevating her voice. He wasn't ticking boxes about equality. He was living the principle that every soul carries both energies. When he challenged the temple's corruption, he wielded righteous masculine fire. When he washed his disciples' feet, he embodied feminine humility. You see this dynamic in your own life. Maybe you're fiercely goal-oriented masculine, but neglect self-care, feminine, or perhaps you're nurturing, feminine but shy away from decisive action. Masculine, Jesus shows us how balancing both creates a complete expression of ourselves. Here's a practice. Pick one area where you feel out of sync. If you tend to bulldoze forward, schedule time for quiet reflection or creative play. If you often drift with others' agendas, carve out space for planning and goal setting. Watch how integrating the missing energy supercharges your results. The Hermetic principle of gender reminds us that creation itself springs from union. Think of how every seed carries a blueprint and a spark. Jesus invited us into that sacred union by demonstrating both fierce justice and tender mercy. By embracing the full spectrum of masculine and feminine energies within us, we step into a more vibrant, balanced life. We become creators in our own right, co-authoring our destiny with divine collaboration.